Hello everyone, welcome back to AnaDialogue, the dialogue on analog music reproduction. In this episode, we're going to take a look at a very nifty phono preamplifier. Are you ready? Let's get to it. Okay, so up today on our shelf, we have a Phono Stellar from PS Audio. Now, this is a very recent product. It just came out, I would say, more or less a year ago, maybe less. Here in Europe, much later. I would say 7-8 months ago, even less maybe. And I see that it's gaining a lot of attention, though there are not that many reviews out there. So, hence this video. Okay, so the Phono Stellar has been with me for quite a while. I got it around the end of November, so it is quite a number of months. So I've been testing it intensely with different types of cartridges, with the Lyra Kleos, with my Dynavector, with also another mono cartridge I'm going to review soon, and things like that. So I have pretty much a good idea. Plus, obviously, I remember more or less the sound signature of the other phono preamplifiers I've tested in the past. So I think I have a pretty precise idea of what is its capabilities. Okay, so before starting to analyze a little bit my impressions, let's take a look at the main features and do a small test and see. So you already have a small opinion on your own. Obviously, everything is going to be filtered by YouTube from the conversion, etc. In any case, you will find also the high-resolution files for download in the video description here below. Let's start. Okay, guys, let's try to see a little bit some of the main commands, the main functions of this fantastic phono preamplifier by PS Audio. Okay, so let's turn it on. There we go. And let's move towards the main aspects. There we go. As you can see, the phono preamp starts out on mute, which I think is something positive, because you never know what's happening. So its default turn on setting is mute. And in fact, the main button on the remote control, which I'll show you afterwards, is mute. Okay, we turned off the mute. So you're going to have to do that every time. Yes. You're going to have to select just the first time, unless the power goes away in your house, then it'll reset up. It will start as a default setup. In any case, when you insert the first parameters, the ones you want, unless, again, the power goes away in your house or it's detached from the body itself through the cable, then it will remain. Otherwise, you're going to have to set them up again. So we have, obviously, moving magnets and moving coils here in the first selection. As you can see, when you click a change on the remote control, when you select a different parameter, the machine goes automatically in mute. So you can do it on the fly if you want, which I think is something very, very cool, in order to protect all the circuits and also don't have clicks and bad noises when you're doing this. The next set of indications, as you can see, let's get a bit closer, is the gain. All very silent. If there is some noise, it's depending on other components nearby. As you can see, you have the low, the mid, and the high. There we go. Finally, you also have the loading over here, which by default it's 60, 100, or 200 if you want. Otherwise, if you have a moving magnet, you're going to want 47 kilo ohms, or On the rear, we're going to see it in a while, you can select your custom load. And here we are at the back of this beast. So, starting here on the left, as you can see, we have the turn off and turn on knob, the main knob to do that. Make sure you do turn it off when you go away for a few days, because unfortunately, if, for example, the power goes off and on, this will automatically turn on in standby with mute if this is on. If it's not, obviously, it's just going to stay like this. Here, there's a nice inlet, so you can choose your own cable. This is a European version. Here you can have a trigger on and off for other components, if you decide to connect, for example, other PS Audio components. And here we have a fantastic balanced and unbalanced outputs of very high quality, gold plated. You immediately can feel the quality just looking at this. The curious thing about this preamplifier is that you have dedicated inputs for the moving magnet and for the moving coil type of cartridges. You have one ground here, and you have obviously here the custom loading for your moving coils if you want to fine tune that. Otherwise, from the front, as we have seen, there are other presets. And that's it. Great case, nice and solid, all metal, fantastic. Here, as you can see, we have the remote control, which you must keep in good condition, because if that doesn't work, some commands are not controllable, so be careful, be aware of that. You have on and off, as you can see, gain, the huge button for mute, obviously the MM and MC, the different loading for the MC, and that's it. Okay guys, ready for a test? We're going to listen 2 tracks. Let's start our record coming from the Technics, which is going to be sent directly here. 2 tracks from Alabama Shakes, the album Sound and Color, fabulous, which is going to go here to my Zoom TAC 2. It's going to be converted in high res, and it's going to be recorded here on my laptop. Are you ready? Freddy? Let's go.
What you like, what I like, why can't we both be right?
Okie dokie. So now that we have overviewed a little bit the characteristics and the sound signature, even though changed and modified by YouTube, again, check the video description for the files for download, high resolution. Let's try to give an analysis of this beast. This is an impressive guy. I mean, already from the weight, it's almost 10 kilos, around 27 pounds, 700 components. You can find a lot of videos online done by PS Audio and other guys where the designer of this jewel, Darren Mayers, does go much in depth on all this, his voyage, his research he has done in order to reach this outcome, this achievement. And I love the story behind it. I'm sure most of you already know it, but I want to go through again the main steps that Darren went through in order to reach the current results. And this has already been stated also in another video I did on cables. Here's a link. And is also present in the manual. And I love this. Darren states that, and I love this, is so important. Please pay attention. He openly claims that measurements are not important. And he is a true skilled audio engineer. He designs circuits. He knows what he's talking about. In fact, his first prototype measured perfectly, wonderfully, but he didn't like the sound. So he went back from scratch and started all over to assemble the circuits, the different parts of this phonostage in order to not measure good, not to have optimal specs, which in fact I'm not going to go through with you. I'll just write them here now. If you want, take a look at them. Normal specs, nothing special. So he was going after his own perception, the audio quality. And I think this is something very, very special because a lot of people, a lot of engineers, a lot of professionals in this environment just look at those. I've been speaking to people that just say, I don't need to listen to that piece of gear. I just need to look at the specs to know if it sounds good. For me, that is insane and unacceptable. I am sorry, because measurements do not tell you everything. And even if they did, why not listen to that piece of gear? Obviously also because the way it interacts with the rest of the gear is going to give you something different. Why not listen? We always have to listen. That is the first stage, the emotion. In fact, Darren was after that emotion, like I said in that recent video I made on hi-fi. What is hi-fi? High fidelity for me. Here's a link. He wanted that first note impact that really thrills you, that really engages you immediately and brings you right inside the music. And I think that he did achieve what he was looking for. This is a special kind of piece of gear. Absolutely. The price isn't low. Here it is. We are around €3,000, as you can see. It depends, a little more, a little less. It depends where you are. I must admit that the results, the sound in my system with my gear, with my cartridges, turntable, etc., did sound very, very good. In fact, it's going to stay with me for a while. I don't think we're around perfection, or at least I'm not going to give a gold medal. I can already say that. I think it deserves a full silver medal award, Anodial Medal Award, silver award. Here it is. But I do not think we've reached the pinnacle. And in fact, this is the more or less the middle range of PS Audio. Maybe they're going to do amazing things when they're going to release the top of the line. Who knows? I love what he's doing. I love his philosophy. And I really think that he has achieved something special. Okay, so what about the sound? A lot of people, like for example, Michael Fremer said it's one of the best mid-range I've ever heard on any phono preamplifier. Already that, wow. And other people said the same, even in Stereophile, Atkinson's, I think, the mid-range. I didn't notice anything popping out, anything special. Yes, excellent, like more or less all the spectrum. Maybe I'm feeling the tones
the general output, the general sound stage is very neutral. I don't see anything popping out. I don't see anything more, engaging, more evident in respect to the other parts of the sound spectrum, which is something good, I think, something positive, because neutrality, as we all know, is something that we should go towards. Nevertheless, I do know that a lot of people instead want something a little more fun, want a little more bass, want treble a little more soft sometimes, not too sparkly, a nice warm and present mid-range. It depends. I do not think, again, that there are parts sticking out here. We have a very homogeneous presentation, very nice, with a good source, good material, good recording, good mastering. Wow. Everything brights up and it's fabulous. When the recording is not that good, you can really feel that, hear that. While, for example, with other phono preamps, for example, the Black Cube, which is only like €400, things were always more or less nice, pleasant. Here, you reach stellar results when you have stellar material. And at that point, the dynamics, the timbre, the quality of the transients is top notch. So thank you, PS Audio. Thank you, Darren. Wonderful job. Thank you guys for watching this video. Please leave your comments here below. And remember, music is born analog. Well guys, if you're enjoying my videos and you're enjoying my channel, please consider to subscribe by clicking the black and white logo here below. Also, don't forget to click the notification bell so you'll never miss an episode and you will become a true member of the analog community.